Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Isaiah 32. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry.
Welcome to the kingdom.
Revelation 14. And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the 4 beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. Then I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters.
See, this is what we're hoping for. This is part of our hope. Not only that we're members of the elect, with fruits meet for repentance, like John the Baptist said, but from our low estate, because we've been brought low, even though it is truth. Remember what is said in Revelation. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Why are we rich? Because we're rich in faith. We have this knowledge. So our hope is at our last end, we're going to be increased. Okay? And if you ask me, the greatest riches right now is to be delivered by Yahweh Shai, is to get that new body that the Apostle Paul spoke about in 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, to get that, get that new body where we'll never be sick, we'll be immortals, like it said in 1 Corinthians 15, to be delivered from the coming destruction, and to be a part of Yahweh Shai's cabinet in the next kingdom. Okay, those are the real riches right now. That's what we want to get. Because if you get that, you got everything. I mean, you got everything. Okay, so our sights are set a lot higher than this present world. All right, as it is written, the fashion of this world shall pass away. We are individuals of vision, and the scripture said, where an individual lacks vision, he perishes. Okay, so we can see the future. All right, and we hope that we're going to be part of it, beginning with the elect.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful they got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Pushing to get up out of here, shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into this morning, we'll get into this morning, news and prophecy, man. Babylon has to fall. Babylon has to fall. And, and the judgment is set. Everything is set in place, for this place to be judged. All right. The instruments, the weapons of the Lord's indignation are already, locked and loaded in these silos. Okay. The tension, between these nations, needed, all right, to cause, all right, these nations to turn America into a desert, via nuclear missiles. Okay. Yahweh Shai and the angels on deck, waiting the green light from the Heavenly Father. All right. And this place is earning, the judgment. When we look out into the world, we're going to continue to see, this place get worse. All right. This place get more wicked. This place become more vile, because this place has a judgment to earn. If brother want to get that in, let's get that in, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 8 and 9. And then let's get that in 2nd Ezra 14, and I believe verse 16, Bible Shah, and I'll get a couple that the brother got right here on the comment board, But this is other brother you call Hopeful 144 says woe, which is a destruction, and woe also describes what? All right, the third world woe. The third woe coming quickly. You see, because it's going to be through this third world's war, okay? It's going to destroy this bloody city, man. It says, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not, and we're their prey. And the Lord, all right, is going to send Yahweh Shai. The Heavenly Father is going to send Yahweh Shai, all right, to, all right, rescue a remnant, okay, from this bloody city. As this place is destroyed, well, Yahweh Shai is going to come and rescue a remnant, from this bloody city, man. And the stage is set for these things, to happen in our lifetime, man. Soon the way things are going. All right. Nahum 3 and 4 says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft that sell a nation through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft, man, because America, has been the platform used by the elites, to turn these nations out. Okay. You look at, the behavior of the world, well, it's influenced by, okay, America, this well-favored harlot. Okay, these nations are in bed with this well-favored harlot, man. Some more than others, but they're all tainted and influenced by the harlot, man. You know, her witchcrafts. Okay, and through this media, which we're gonna get a few clips, all right, but through this man's media, he's able to project wickedness and glorify wickedness and make it a standard in the earth, man, make it acceptable, man. Okay, which is witchcraft, man. You see, this man has the people, enchanted, okay, as if wickedness, okay, is a righteous standard. This man celebrates and rewards, okay, wickedness. You see, and it begins right here in America, man. Nahum 3:5 said, "Behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame." Okay, so we have to understand when it says, "Behold, I am against thee," that's heavy for the Lord to say that, and this is why we see, America just on the constant decline. Okay, and ultimately, this whole, New World Order agenda, okay, is set up to fail. Okay, but the first phase of it is America being destroyed, okay, which has been the motherland, all right, the source of wickedness in the planet Earth, man. You see, and we're going to go into some things now. When you go here, all right, the brother got Yashima, tribe of Judah, 2nd Ezra 2:8, it says, "Woe be unto thee, Ashur," all right, which is Ashur goes into Assyria, okay, and when you go into the fall of the ancient Assyrian Empire, it was riddled with lewdness. Even the king of Assyria, their last king, all right, was known for cross-dressing, just being, this constant partying, what they call revelry, and, it's just a real lewd, okay, low nature spirit, and that's the spirit that's in America, man. Okay, it says, "Thou that hidest the unrighteous in thee, O thou wicked people, remember what I did unto Sodom and Gomorrah." See, and this is in Esdras. This is way after the Assyrian Empire had failed. So what is it speaking of? A future empire, man. There will hide wickedness in it. Okay, and when we go to this clip, you're going to see, man, that America, it celebrates wickedness, man. It rewards wickedness, man. It glorifies wickedness, man. Okay, this is the place where people are comfortable in their wickedness, man. You see, where they celebrate, they have parades and marches and celebrate their wickedness, man. Okay, so woe, go back to what? That same woe, that war. What's going to bring that destruction? That woe is this war, man. Okay, there's nothing but woe when you go into, all right, what's the befall Babylon? Woe. This third world war is going to turn this place to a desert. It's going to be an amplified, okay, version of ancient Sodom and Gomorrah on another level. Okay, 2nd Ezra 2:9, it says, "Whose land lieth in clods of pitch and heaps of ashes, even so also will I do unto them that hear me not, said the Almighty Lord." Okay, so Sodom and Gomorrah was an example, okay, of the results of, a lewd, wicked, society, man. Okay, it was a society full of sexual deviance. You see, a society just full of, straight perverseness, man. And America lives up to that. Okay, America is doing everything in its power to fulfill the lewdness and the perverseness of Sodom and Gomorrah, man. And it has no intention, all right, on listening to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. Okay, the prophets are ignored in this society, man. You see, and that's why the Lord is going to come with judgment, all right, in this third world war. Okay, so, yep, this one here. It's the brother servants of Yahweh 144, 2nd Ezra 14 and 16. And Yeah, we read 17 says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter, man. Okay. So until this place is destroyed, man, we're going to see an increase in wickedness, lewdness. You know, these things are just a cultural norm now. You know, this man has established wickedness. It's just a cultural norm. If a brother want to get that in what's that? Job chapter 10, you know, verses I think 21, 22, Baba Gashah. Okay, he says, for yet greater evils, and also First John chapter 5, verse 19. Okay, it said, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more evils shall increase upon them that dwell therein, man, which are bad times, man. You know, and the Lord is finna bring, tragic times, okay, to the world, man. It's going to be the worst right here in America, because America is the the platform of wickedness, man. You see, if a brother can get Revelation 19:2 as well, okay, and then we'll segue into the first video. Okay, this is brother Yashima, tribe of Judah. First John 5:19, it says, and we know that we are of the Most High, and the whole world life and wickedness, man. So there's a remnant that has come back to Yahweh Bashim al-Shah through faith and righteousness, man. And that remnant of Israel are going to be preserved, you know, going to be brought in those chariots, man. And the Lord is going to establish a righteous government with that remnant, beginning with what? The first fruits, okay, which is going to be that everlasting righteous governing body in the world, man. The world needs a righteous government, man. Okay, this place is completely wicked and out of order, man. All right, and it's overdue for a righteous government to bring order, man. You know, everything is suffering under the rulership of Esau Edom, and he's trying to double down on his rulership with a technocracy, man. You know, he's trying to establish, okay, a kingdom, you know, in which he can never be overthrown. You see, that's why this new system is about control, because he wants to establish a kingdom where he can never be overthrown. You see, so not only, you know, is this man the most wicked of the heathen, okay, but he's trying to set up, you know, wickedness forever, man. This man is really trying to establish wickedness forever through technology, man. You know, and this man has influenced the earth so much, all right, that the whole world outside of the elect is tainted by this man's wickedness, man. You know, that's why there has to be mass judgment and the mass enslavement, okay, of the heathen. You see, because of the damage done by Esau, man. 2/3 they suffer from the damage done by Esau, man. Okay, our people are out of there. 2/3 of our people are out of there, man. You know, and the only thing left is great judgment. All right, this is the book of Job, chapter 10, verse 21 and 22. It says, this is brother servants of Yahweh says, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. A land of darkness is darkness itself, man. This is a very dark place, man. Okay, America has a very dark, okay, energy about it, man. You know, when you look at 2/3 of our people, they're becoming very dark, man, to the point you can't be around them. Okay, but this is, you know, this is what America produces, man: darkness and wickedness. Okay, and they call these things the norm, and this is what people want to continue in forever, man. You talk about the destruction of America, people get offended. It's like, wait a minute, this place is extremely wicked. You see, that's why people try to put off the day of the Lord, because they want this place to continue, man. Long as they got their little daily, you know, personal perks and conveniences, man, they don't care about how wicked society is getting around them, man. Okay, and that's why the Lord is just going to come with mass judgment, man. You know, it's going to go from civil unrest, all right, to just complete nuclear destruction, man, obliteration of this place, man. Okay, it says a land of darkness is darkness itself, and the shadow of death without any order, where light is as darkness, man. Okay, so light, you know, truth, righteousness, okay, they demonize that as darkness. Okay, you know, it's just a big push against, you know, male leadership. You know, like the patriarch is you know, that's the problem with society, male authority. Okay, you know, a woman want to be in order under her husband, that's demonized. Okay, raising your children, okay, in the environment, okay, you know, in this society, if you cultivate your children, you know, they're looked at as lame. You know, if you cultivate your children with, you see, with true wisdom, with true, you know, development, it's looked at as lame. But your children ain't on that, you know, the street culture, you know. But everything that's righteous is demonized here, man. Everything is righteous. I mean, everything that is wicked is glorified, man. You know, and that's intentionally done, man. Okay, because the earth is ran by the wicked. Okay, so let's go from there. Now, check this first video out, man, with this complete madness, man. And this has to be, you know, staged. Okay, these people that are supporting this madness, this has to be, you know, staged, man. Knowing what we know dealing with Esau. Let's go here. Now, this is from the brother, the Hopeful Elect 3. Brother Yaquab. Okay. Now let's listen to this madness. Let's watch this madness.
Cheers for Lindsay Clancy. This was the extraordinary scene today as she arrived to court with hundreds of women wearing pink, showing their support. Despite her saying she had children in a moment of postpartum psychosis, as Anna Cogliano reports, many are showing her sympathy.
An astounding show of support today for Lindsay Clancy. Hundreds of women, all dressed in pink, cheered the accused mom as she arrived in a police caravan for her murder trial. Supporters ran across the field to greet Lindsay. Some came with their babies. They held up heart hands during a silent rally for the mom who strangled her 3 young children, then jumped from the second floor window, leaving her paralyzed for life.
It's a buzz around here, guys.
Fox News legal analyst Chanley Painter, a former prosecutor, actually wore pink in her live report as she spoke to Lindsay's defense attorney, who was greeted with cheers.
Hey, guys, what do you think of the support for Lindsay Clancy out here?
I have no words.
No words?
It's amazing.
It echoes last year's Free Karen Read campaign. Those supporters also wore pink. She was acquitted of murdering her cop boyfriend. The rally for Lindsay Clancy is not just in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the trial is being held. There are gatherings across the USA today, including here in New York in Union Square. Actress Alyssa Milano today is joining the chorus of Lindsay Clancy's sympathizers. She revealed, "I stayed in a public psychiatric ward for 3 days after the birth of her son." But others are taking to social media to express shock over the display of support for 36-year-old Lindsay.
And this is crazy work, man. You know, but when you look at it, knowing how Esau does now, you know, dealing with propaganda, you know, what this devil will do, you know, he'll hire, you know, hundreds of women, you know, to start a trend, you know, put on the pink, okay, and go support this madness, man, you know, and then it becomes, you know, a what you call a trend, you know, it begins to trend on the internet, and people begin to accept, okay, and absorb these ideologies, man, because this is just complete wickedness, man. Okay, but now under the, you know, the banner of postpartum, okay, trauma, that she can, you know, you just unalive your children, you know, and then you could tell she had demons on. She don't give a damn. She jump off the second floor, you know. So however, you know, you can go into the details, man, but the optics of it, is to plant seeds of ideology, okay, to justify wickedness, man, to glorify wickedness, man. Okay, then you got women running to her with their children. She's murdered her children, but you got women running to her with their children. What type of madness is this, man? Okay, what the hell is going on in Babylon, man? The only thing that makes sense is the missiles, man. Okay, well, this is nothing, but psyop. Okay, playing on the minds, all right, of the masses. Okay, and just planting seeds of ideology, man, rituals, and when it comes to unaliving children, this devil, okay, is a major part of the devil ritual is unaliving children, man. Okay, like I say, this putting nothing but enchantments and psyops on people. The pink, you go into the pink and what that mean, and this, I'm quite sure I might need to go to. I know my boy called for an uprising, probably got the breakdown, dealing with the case. I should have went and check this channel, but I'll go look at it later on and see. But this is just complete madness, man. And this is why the only judgment that makes sense is just complete nuclear destruction to just all right obliterate the madness of this society called America, man. So let's play a little more of this.
Are people really cheering for someone who murdered her kids? 3 babies were strangled. What? Today in court, the judge called up each juror one by one for a private conversation. It's not known what was discussed, but we do know that the jury saw Lindsay's army of supporters as they entered the courthouse. The lone witness today was a hospital chaplain who testified what Lindsay told her after her breathing tube was removed 8 days after she killed her children.
She alluded to having heard a voice, and the voice, according to Lindsay, told her that if she did not follow the command, neither she nor her children would be safe.
While Lindsay Clancy's defense is that she was suffering from postpartum psychosis, the prosecution argues she was clear-minded and planned to murder her children.
Also on this Monday, a King County man now accused of using artificial intelligence to create child pornography. Jeremy Batterman facing multiple felony charges, including production and possession of sexually explicit materials involving children, to use AI to alter images of real children and created entirely AI-generated images and videos. Batterman is ordered to remain in custody until his trial.
A traveling pastor and his wife were sentenced in a Rutherford County court today after a 2-week trial involving sex crimes against children. Details are hard to hear here. This is 35-year-old Benjamin Garlick, convicted of 7 counts of aggravated rape and 6 counts of aggravated sexual battery, among other charges. He was sentenced to life in prison. His wife was convicted on 2 counts of facilitating the rape of a child. Murfreesboro police started investigating this in August of 2023.
Just complete madness, man. Using AI for, create child pornography, man. And this is crazy. Here it is. It's certain prompts. You can put in Grok, and Grok will like, no, we can't do that and this and that. Grok, you got to word a certain way to get it to do certain, prompts. Okay. And it's just be on some, some light things that we be putting on, man, for the thumbnails. Okay, but here it is. This man is able to, do a whole child pornography video on the AI, man. This is madness, man, because the wicked. Matter of fact, brother, get that Psalms 12 and 7. Let's get that Psalms 12 and 7 Bible shot, man. Okay, this is why great judgment is coming, man. It's only a matter of time, man. The Lord. All right, and let's get that too in 2nd Ezra 15. Oh yeah, brother, that's the spirit. I was just finna call for it, brother. Let me cue up this next video though, man. Okay. Let's cue up this next video, get some of these. That was a spirit, bro. I was just finna say it out my mouth. What's next? Oh yeah, this one here. All right, this the brother, Yashima tribe of Judah, 2nd Esdras 15:6. It said, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their workful, all right, works are fulfilled, man. So it's only, and the Lord already has a cutoff to where he's just going to begin major judgment. Okay, it's a cutoff point. Like it's already an exact limit to wickedness that the Lord is going to allow, this place to get to before, judgment, man. Okay, before he just unleashed mass judgment, man. Okay, from civil unrest all the way to the nukes, man. Okay, a time like never before, because the earth is wicked like never before, man. Okay, it's the brother Corner Wath, GMS Prayer Always Hopeful Elect. It says, thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. And that's going to be, the elect. We're going to be preserved. That's why there's a separation. Now there's a separation in spirit. The Lord has us, drawing further and further away from this society, man, and closer unto him, for the sake of mercy. And you look out at this generation, it says the wicked, okay, it says the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Okay, so the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. And Esau, Edom is the vilest man. And of Esau, Amalek is the vilest of Esau, man. When you go into Amalek, man, and the madness that they be into, man, because they're the ones behind all this XEX trafficking, the child porn, the PDF file, okay, to sacrifice, the children sacrifice, their Canaanite rituals, and okay, eyes wide shut, their spirit, okay, there's them, man, the Epstein, small heads, that's what they're into, man, okay, and they're just normalizing this to the public now, okay, because that was ultimately just a child sacrifice, there's a public child, sacrifice, man. You see, and it's gonna be interesting how they rule, their verdict, dealing with that, man. But it's America. Wouldn't be surprised, she got off. There's no telling. Let's and also let's get Isaiah 24 verses 4. Okay, and also Isaiah 14:6 in the NLT. Okay, because you have this madness, this freak show / child sacrifice, okay, madness, okay, being glorified, you see. But then you have this going on with the workers, man, and you best believe, people don't took their juice, okay, because right now the a 40-hour work week don't get it. It's 60 is the new 40-hour work week now, okay. And people, the food, is not putting the nutrients back in people. Okay, people don't took the juice. Okay, there's more chemicals in the food. More madness. You see, and then people are being, worked, with no mercy, man. Okay, so you look at this, man. And, people are just collapsing at work, man. So watch this.
A fried chicken shop worker lost control after a sudden late-night order surge left him working alone. While delivering Amazon packages, this man found himself struggling with heat exhaustion.
Oh, are you okay? A FedEx delivery driver was fired.
The nigga fell out. Poor boy, Uncle Dog, boy. That nigga fell out delivering all these goddamn packages, and his high ass son, and that, nigga woke up fired, nigga, you passed out. All right, nigga, they bought you too, nigga, clock out. It's crazy, man. They played it.
Can you guys think twice before you go into nursing? Cause this shit sucks.
Look at this guy. Fell asleep on the job. Can't even hang with only 6 hours in.
And then she said,
Yeah, man, I'm gonna fast forward to some more. Cause he going to people talking, but look at these niggas, man. Hold on. Out of there, man. America is done. Americans are done. Okay. The only thing left is the missiles, man. Let's play this.
I like her. I like her. Now roll me up. Now roll me up. Now roll me up. Now roll me up.
Yeah, and then she a hostess. You know, she's working in AC. You know, so what's going on? All right, this is a hostess. You know, just collapsing. All right, and you best believe that juice plays a major part, man. And what we're seeing, plus the hours and plus, you know, terrible food. You know, more chemicals in the food. Okay. Yeah, and music annoying, you know. I should have been music. But look at this nigga, man. Out of there. Look at this nigga. Finish. And they just shutting down like androids, man. Look at this nigga. Nigga be fine, you know. What the hell is happening, man? All right, Moab. You know. Let me see, fast forward to the end of this nigga, man. Look at this nigga, man. What the hell is wrong with this nigga, man? Boom. The waitress, she taking orders just out of there. Yeah, man. So I was just looking at that this morning. I'm like, God damn. You know, but you best believe that juice plays a major part in that, man. Okay. These people, you know, because a lot of these people not working laborious jobs. Okay. They were taking the order. Okay. Collapse. You see? But this all plays in the prophecy, man. When you go here, let's see. This is the brother Yashima tribe of Judah, Isaiah 24:4. It said, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish, man. People are just fading away, man. Between the juice, the food, the demons that's on people. You know, people are just open to demons. Okay. You know, plus getting worked the hell out, you know, just being worked to death. Okay. You know, people just fading away. People are miserable, you know, anxiety is on the rise. Depression is at an all-time high. Okay. Frustration, you know, just through, man. People fatigue, man. This place is just, you know, collapsing people, man. You know? Let's go here. And you know the devil has a depopulation agenda, man. You know, we still believe we haven't seen the worst of that juice, man. You know, that's going to play a part in mass depopulation. All right, this is brother on the YGMS prayer, always hopeful elect. Isaiah 14:6, it said, you struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny, man. This man's an unrelenting tyrant, man. You know, and that whole juice thing, it turned the earth to a death count. And remember, ISUPK told you to go take that. The leadership of ISUPK told you you'd be stupid if you didn't take that, man. Okay? And now we're just starting to see more and more results, okay, of that juice, man. Okay? Because these people are just shutting down, man. Their body is just shutting down on them, man. Okay? So we haven't seen the worst of it yet, I believe, man. Okay? So let's go from there, because as you even have, you know, certain FedEx worker, you know, UPS worker, and he's passing out the heat. Now with them, the heat plays a major factor in that hot ass truck, you know, up and down, you know, on the boxes, man. And then even this devil, you know, you know, let's go here. You know, with these data centers, they play a major part. Like here it is, he'll blame you for climate change, you know, but these data centers, you know, people broke it down. It's like these data centers are equivalent, you know, to you know, an atomic bomb going off, man. All right, how much heat, you know, they radiate, you know, they have to be constantly. That's why it had to be constantly, you know, cooled down like that. Okay, but then you go here and play this. All right, because what the devil is trying to set up in the earth is having an effect, you know, on the climate, man. Okay, and like I said, that's why you see more people, you know, there's an uptick when it comes to, you know, heat strokes and heat-related illnesses and deaths, man. Okay, this man is as deaf as the scriptures say. You know, that's why I say, my brother can put that in that Matthew 24 and 21, 22.
Extraordinary is developing beneath the surface of the tropical Pacific, which has the power to climate pattern called El Nino.
The trade winds that normally blow from east to west, they weaken, they reverse. That allows very, very warm water to move and pool on the eastern side of the Pacific, and that can have really big impacts on weather patterns around the world.
Climate scientists are sounding the alarm about this year's El Nino. They say the weather phenomenon, which starts in the Pacific Ocean, could be the most severe in living memory. The results could be record-breaking global temperatures in 2027 and natural disasters, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in a century.
But before that, we got to the bad news today, didn't we? That our cost of living is on the up again because of higher energy bills. But another big factor in the rising cost of our weekly shop is a huge climate system on the other side of the world. It is called El Nino. And while it can have a devastating effect on nearby countries, it is unlikely to have a direct effect on the weather here, but it may well have a huge goods, and scientists are predicting this year's super El Nino could be the biggest yet.
The El Nino weather phenomenon can fan the flames of already extreme weather. Australia and Canada more prone to wildfires, deadly floods, whilst areas like southern Africa can be ravaged by drought. This year's event, triggered by heating in the Pacific 6,000 miles away, is being described as a
Godzilla
El Nino.
We're going to be experiencing weather that we've never seen before.
As well as the human cost, there's an economic impact too. And everything from your shampoo to your phone, even your trainers, could all be affected by it. So how worried should we be? When might this hit? And how soon until we have to pay for extreme weather?
And if you have to put it into context for us, I mean, how would you describe what makes this El Nino different from the strong events that we've seen before?
Yeah, it's just supercharged. So there's more heat in that part of the Pacific. Therefore, it has some really extreme local events. It'll lead to flooding, particularly the eastern side of South America, droughts across the western side of the Pacific. So Australia, again, we're going to see those stories of wildfire, and they're going to be even more severe because of this event, because it's a much more extreme event. And right around the world, we'll see temperature rising. So pretty much guaranteed 27 will be the hottest record. We can say that now before we put such extra heat and energy into the atmosphere. Pretty much guaranteed that now.
More. They're already guaranteeing 2027 is going to be hotter. All right. So you got these places, you know, that because this is the bottom of a lake. You know, lakes are being, emptied out. Plus the data centers is pulling, from the aquifers beneath the ground. Okay, which is drying out the lakes, and this all play a part in famine. Crops. Okay, all these things. The Lord has a major recipe happening to bring about, all these disasters at the same time. Okay. Matter of fact, brother can post it in 2nd Ezra 16, I believe verses 37 through 39. Okay. Yeah, man. So it's a lot going on. And it's just going to hit. And it's just going to be devastating, man. You see? But there's a lot going on at the same time that's going to result, okay, in the worst time ever since the earth was. You see? So let's go from there. Because while that is happening, let's see, there's something else I had. Let's see. Just look at this. So even when you go here, so I just asked the increase in heat-related deaths. It says heat-related deaths are rising worldwide due to longer heat waves, higher global temperatures, and aging population. Extreme heat strains. All right, extreme heat strains the heart and kidneys, worsening chronic illnesses like cardiovascular and respiratory diseases. It is now a leading cause of weather-related mortality. Okay, so there's more death, heat-related deaths that's happening. Okay, especially it's saying if you're older, or I say growing tolls say global heat-related deaths for older adults rose significantly over recent decades, with hundreds of thousands of deaths occurring annually worldwide. Adults over 65, people with pre-existing medical conditions, outdoor workers, and low-resource urban areas, okay, face the highest danger. Underlying causes direct heat stroke is fatal, but most excessive deaths happen because heat worsens heart attacks, controls, and strokes and kidney failure, man. So yeah, man, this devil is at the root of a lot of this climate change, which ultimately the Lord is allowing the devil to wreak havoc in the earth, man. Because the Lord wants this to be the worst times ever, man. That's why when you go into, all right, these precepts, let's go into, just the brother servants of Yahweh Shah 144, Matthew 24:21 through 22. It said, "For then shall be great tribulation, such was not since the beginning of the world, all right, to this time, nor ever shall be." Okay. So we're going into a time like never before. This is a time like never before. And you have all these different things happening at the same time, which is going to cause a time like never before. Okay. We got the heat, you got the people with the juice, and this man just been pouring it on the masses, man. Okay, you got graphene found in the food, man, which graphene is needed, to make people what? All right, compatible with the microchip. You see, they got people, with graphene being found in them. You got all type of things happening at the same time. That's why you got all these recalls for, different food. Okay, plus you have a population like America that's heavily armed, with weaponry, man. So as things continue to get worse, man, we're gonna see that the gun violence, there's already mercenaries here. Okay, the Lord spoke about teeth of wild beasts. You best believe there's, a real deadly, all right, disease that's going to be really, it's going to be unleashed. Okay, the Lord can, and then see the Lord going to be doing things that Esau can't account for in these times, man. And that's really what's going to cause this to be a time like never before, man. It's going to be things that Esau's not even aware of that the Lord just going to put in the game, man. Okay, and it says, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, all right, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, man. The Lord has to shorten the time, or Esau, will make the earth unlivable, man. This man will make the planet Earth unlivable, man. This man would, the resources of the water, like he talk about, there's not enough resources. No, it's not enough resources for your goddamn technocracy, man. There's plenty of resources, okay, for the people of the earth, man. Okay, but this goddamn technocracy, okay, is a major problem. Resources, with energy, with water. Okay, so let's let's go here. This is Yashima tribe of Judah, 2nd Ezra 16:37. It says, "Behold, the plague draw nigh, and I'm not slack, man." So all these plagues, all these events are going to lead to just major plagues, man. It's going to be water shortages, food shortages, okay, extreme violence. The earth going to be plagued with violence, man, because even in famine, all right, the body is more susceptible to sickness, man. Your immune system begins to be depleted when you're famished. Okay, so all these things, it's going to be a compounding effect. A lot of polycrisis, a lot of things happening at the same time. Okay, and people are not going to have no answers and no way. All right, and it's going to be so intense. You people are going to be clueless. Okay, and people are going to be confused. The scripture about how confusion shall increase. Okay, 2nd Ezra 16:38 says, "As when a woman with child in the 9th month bring forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her great birth pain compasses her womb, which pains when the child cometh." Okay, when the child cometh, it said they slack not. Let me see right here. Yeah, it said they slack not a moment, man. And we coming to the time where these events are just going to be, it's going to be a steady streamline of events. There ain't going to be no, things heat up and then they cool down and heat up, cool down. No, it's going to get to the point where it's just going to be a streamline of events, okay, and crisis and, atrocities that's just going to be happening back to back to back. Okay, verse 39 says, "Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come up on the earth, and the world shall mourn, and the sorrows shall come up on every side," man. So it's going to be sorrows on every side, man. People are going to be dealing with famine at the same time, trying to, survive all the violence that's going to be out here, man. Trying to not get, this disease, this pestilence that's going to be out here. These different pestilences going to be out here, man. Okay. It's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be terrors on every side, man. Plus, then the plague of darkness, man. When the lights go out, man. Okay. Because that's a major part of what the devil want to do, man. Okay. There's lights out in America, man. You see? And then I think, matter of fact, my brother got that, let's see. and this Edomite talking about, because people, you know, are unaware how dependent. You see, people really don't factor in how dependent, all right, hundreds of millions of people in America are dependent on this grid. Okay, people don't consider that. You know, that's why there's no urgency amongst these people when it comes to, you know, trying to be, you know, independent off the grid, which at the end of the day, all right, it's going to take miracles to survive this time, you know, and the Lord going to be performing miracles for the elect to get through these times, man. That's the only way through it, man, because even people off the grid, they got to deal with the reality, okay, of, let me see. They're going to have to deal with the reality of being in the midst of, you know, because people that's off grid, what do you think those people are coming to? All right, that's going to be trying to survive these times, man. Okay, so let's play this real quick. Yeah. And then the brother can get St. John 14:6 Bible shot.
All right. So what you folks got to remember is the government and the powers that be, they're not going to be without power. They're going to have everything they've been saving for this whole time. In their underground cities, their bunkers, they're not going to suffer. You and me are. And David Goldberg said it best. They're going to use the power grid going down to eliminate people they don't like yours truly. That's a fact. Now,
and like he said, when that grid go down, there's a lot of planned wickedness that these devils got that they are going to execute, man. You know, when there's no more going live, you know, people, you know, are able to record every goddamn thing. You see, no more internet to upload. No, it's when the grid goes out, man, the devil's going to do a lot of wickedness, man. You know, and he's really going to want to move the needle with his depopulation agenda when the grid goes down, man, which is the plague of darkness, which happened in ancient Egypt. You know, you're seeing the little preview of that with Gary, Indiana. People are talking about how dark it is, and you know, people robbing and looting. And you best believe that, you know, Jake, you know, they're gonna do what they do, but then you best believe that this devil got certain people in Gary, Indiana. You know, I don't know what's the update with that. I don't know if anybody's, you know, around that area on the comment board, you know, any type of update with Gary, Indiana. Okay. Well, we know one thing, man, how these devils get down. You know, those purge movies when Jake wasn't purging enough, Esau helped them out. Okay. And you best believe it's going to be those scenarios times 1,000. You know, when these lights start to go off, okay, in these, in America, man. You see?
all I can say is be smart. It would be smart to take my fucking advice. We all have free will. And who told me this is in the Texas government. I trust them. And when you step back and think about it, the power grid, believe it or not, you can believe what you want, but that power grid holds Americans in the palm of the hand. That fucker going down is way bigger than you think it is until it happens. So all I can say is they're going to use that to eliminate a lot of fucking people. people that are on their shit list, people that share my ideology, people that speak out against them. They're going to use that. And you best fucking believe that. Because believe it or not, if you go back and listen to David Goldberg.
Yeah, man. So just the fact that, people are really don't understand, how vital, the grid is, when it comes to people existence. See, people don't understand that they can't exist off the grid. Okay. The comforts, okay, the essentials, okay, and the people that's, that rely on, medical equipment, to be up and functioning, okay, to survive, man. So a grid allergy is going to be massive death in America, man. It's going to play a major part, you see. And the only way to survive, all right, what's to come is through Yahushua. That's why you go here, St. John 14:6, and it reads, Yahushua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So the only way is through Yahushua, man. Which Yahushua in these latter days has brought a remnant close unto the Father. You see, our favor with the Father is through Yahushua. Okay, so his sacrifice, and in these latter days, there's a remnant, all right, which was predestined from the foundation of the earth that will believe on this sacrifice, man. Okay, and will come back, to obedience, through faith. Okay, which is putting us in good standings with our power. Because right now the only people that's going to make it through what's to come are those that are in favor with the Israelites, that are in favor, the elect of Israel that's in favor with Yahweh Bashim al-Shai, man. Because it's going to take miracles, man. It's going to take, miracle after miracle to be preserved, okay, for salvation, but there's a remnant that's promised to be preserved, man. The Lord told us, tells us time after time in the scriptures, hey, fear not, these times, man. This is a punishment for the wicked. These things are made, for a punishment for the wicked, man. Okay, in these last days. Matter of fact, let's end on that. I think that's Sirach 39 verses 28 and 29. Let's make sure, because these bad times are prepared for the wicked, man. Esau, Edom, and everyone that's in love with this beast, that's wandering after the beast, man. So in these last days, you drunk off Babylon juice, okay, still wandering after the beast. This is your end all be all. Well, there's an evil time that's being prepared for you, man. But yeah, I believe it's Sirach 39 verses starting 28, maybe through 30, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, Sirach 39 verses 28 through 30. Yep. This is on the brother Yashua, my tribe of Judah, Jeremiah 29 and 11. It said, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. And that's for the elect, man. So in the midst of the worst time ever, and the Lord, all right, our peace is going to be in Yahweh Bashim al-Shai, because we know these things must happen, before we get to the glory of the promises, man, before we change those new bodies, before we get the kingdom. We know that these things have to happen, man. And this is just an indicator. See, these bad times are just another token for the elect that the Lord is going to fulfill his promise, man. Okay, he's going to fulfill all his promises, okay, of the reward of the kingdom. You see, and the Lord has an expected end for the elect, man, because in the midst of this chaos, man, we're going to have a peace that this world, all right, doesn't have, man, because these people peace come from this place being up and running. You see, this is what people get their peace from, is from the convenience of this world. Our peace comes from, you know, the world promised to come, the age, the everlasting kingdom that's promised to come. And we know this place has to collapse before that happen, man. So the collapse of this place, it adds to our peace, man. You know, the same thing that's going to make these people, you know, bug out is the same thing that's going to give us peace, man. Okay, because we know what it is. All right, it's the brother GMS prayer, always hopeful. Lex Rock 39:28 said there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes, man. You know, death ain't, it's gonna be death angels on people, death angels, you know, directly getting busy, man. You see, it says in the time of their destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them, man. So it's gonna be the Lord that's gonna be dispatching these spirits, these angels, you know, to start getting busy in the earth, man. Okay, it's gonna be the Lord that's gonna be stirring this thing, or the Lord's gonna be, all right, fanning the flames, okay, of judgment. You see, he's gonna be the one intensifying the times that we're coming into and magnifying these things, man, amplifying these things, you know, to appease his wrath, man, because the Lord, all right, is angry with this society, man, especially here in America, which is going to get the brunt of the Lord's wrath. Okay, Sirach 39:29, it says, fire and hell and famine and death, all these was created for vengeance. Okay, let's see, all these things was created for vengeance. All right, it says scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction, man. You see, punishing the wicked to destruction. So these evil time was created, you know, for the wicked Esau Edom. Okay, these heathens that have followed this man and this rebellion, and 2/3 of our people that are in cahoots with the devil in these last days, man. You know, so these times are going to be customized and modified for them, you know, and Lord will cover, you know, by the blood of Yahushua and receive mercy, man. You know, and even receive power in these latter days, man. Okay, so yeah, we here, man. We seeing, you know, more and more things start to happen at the same time, which all play a part, you know, in the will of the Lord through prophecy, man. So, you know, the Lord will you, brothers, all right, and you, a few sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakal Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards young brothers, and peace and blessing, salutation, hopefully, Shalom.